We weren't quite sure what to expect when we traveled halfway around the world to the United Arab Emirates. We had some inkling of what we might see, but it was beyond all our expectations. We made our home base in Abu Dhabi with our good friends, who had a fabulous apartment on the water. Abu Dhabi is the home of the Grand Mosque, and also Yas Island, which we looked out over at the Formula One racetrack and Ferrari World. The Yas Island Marina with its fabulous hotel. We had a private beach where we could frolic in the warm water and take in our fabulous surroundings. We had a number of great adventures, but first let's take a look at Abu Dhabi briefly. Even the cell towers are fabulous. Here's the Durham building, which we named after the currency of the realm, the Zaha Hadid Bridge, which was affectionately known as the Naked Lady Bridge for its resemblance to a reclining woman. Here's the Corniche and the mangrove swamps in the background. It had a host of fabulous buildings, including these two award-winning buildings. These buildings had an exoskeleton with cells or lenses that could close during the heat of the day and thus protect the building from the harsh sunlight and warming temperatures, keeping it more energy efficient. As I said, we used Abu Dhabi as our base, and our first main trip was to travel north to Ras al Khaimah, which took us through Dubai and Sharjah. Even the underpasses are tiled with fantastic patterns and flags in this case, and the buildings everywhere you looked were fantastic. Traveling through Jebel Ali in Dubai. A few older buildings too. Here's our hotel in Ras al Khaimah and the hospitality we had, the directions to Mecca. And anywhere you go in this area, you'll find mosques. Here we're on our way to a post office where we had a really nice thing happen. As we went to the post office to post a couple postcards home to our families, I waited in the car in the parking lot, and a gentleman coming to his car walked over to a palm tree with the date palms, plentiful date palms hanging off the tree, and he picked one off and washed it. And so I jumped out to ask him if they're edible, and he said they were, and washed one off and passed it to me. It's just one example of the kindness of the locals. Here you can see some of the palm trees that are everywhere throughout the country, and a fruit I came to love. In Ras al Khaimah, we stayed at visited the fantastic Hilton Resort right on the beach with its beautiful saltwater pool, where we could belly up to the bar for a mojito. This resort had everything: swimming, in the ocean, in the pool. We stayed throughout the whole afternoon watching the sun go down in this fantastic location. Our next day, we were searching for a friend's camel farm. We hit our first 40-degree day. Here I am walking back to the car because the sun was so hot it was burning the soles of my feet as it flipped onto my sandals. No camping, no four-wheel driving on the desert. Now, Jerry's friend Hamid was nice enough to come and pick us up at our hotel and took us to his uncle's farm. Here we are with his uncle on the left side, and they walked us around their little camel farm. And it was such a great experience, the hospitality and kindness of the Emiratis. And here we are in the pen with some of the camels. These are not your average camels, these are racing camels, and worth a lot of money. Fed hay, shipped over from the United States. The young ones were so adorable. Now these are all female camels. Every year there's a big race, and there's a lot of money on them, and people win brand new cars. The winners get brand new vehicles, and it's a very big event, camel racing. So these are treated very well.
Almost on the Omani border, and we are at a friend of Jerry's camel farm, and we've just gone to see the females, so we're going to see the lone male who has to be kept separate. And I'm walking very carefully because it's very rocky here. But
here Hamid and his uncle explained to us that this is the big male camel, and he's very aggressive, and they have the pen fortified because he'll bash it down and escape to try and get to the females.
You see the female? Special? Yeah.
And as a treat, his uncle feeds the camels these big clumps of compressed dates, which of course they just love.
We will go to the horses. We take carrots.
oh,
Horses are there.
awesome!
And you can see the gentleman in the background, the Pakistani fellows, when they came and told them that we were from Canada. They laughed and said, "Oh, they were Taliban." They do have a sense of humor. They also had horses on the farm, and they laid out these beautiful Arabian horses for us to see.
Oh, this one's going out too. Just gonna let him out.
I love horses, so it was a real treat for me to see these beautiful,
Are they all Arabian horses?
beautiful horses.
No, these white ones are Arabian.
But as we said, Hamid and his uncle had some great Emirati hospitality. They took us to their little abode, and we sat on their deck, and they fed us a nice meal with some different foods, but including dates, which I really love, and plenty of water because it was a very hot day. And they were just so hospitable. They were glad to have us as visitors, and we were glad that they had us over. We had a great day. Hamid drove us around all over the city and took care of us. Hamid, being a young, wealthy man, also has hobbies, including his racing 4x4, which he had stripped out and the tricked out engine put in. And when he started in the little compound, it was loud. And he told us that he goes out at night at around 11 o'clock because it's shift change for the police, and he knows there will be no police on the streets for about an hour. There's the tank for the aviation fuel that they use, and even the scooters are tricked out. And here's the Hot Hotel for the famous hot springs, and looking out over Ras al Khaimah. And then we're on our way home again, past the Biodome, and through Dubai, home of the Burj Khalifa, back to our home base, where we went to bed dreaming of new adventures.